Welcome back to another episode of the Betting Bankers. We're going to hopefully keep this short and sweet today as we run through a couple of the tips that we have picked out for tomorrow. And there's quite a lot of action, there's a lot of horse racing on especially, but we've also got the Sky Bet Championship playoff between Brentford and Swansea, and then nearly a full Serie A selection. So there's actually two Serie A games on at the moment. Oh, sorry, two tonight. One's already wrapped up. And then there's a game on at the moment. It's actually quite an interesting Inter versus Napoli game. And then other than those two, there's 8 games tomorrow, as it's the penultimate game week of the Serie A, so that's drawn to a close as well. We had some good wins today in the horses, Gary. In particular, it was a nice change from yesterday's football.
Decent day. Even without the bets winning, just there was some good racing, some good races. Goodwood, John Racy couldn't really go near from a betting perspective. Stradivarius was odds on, but he got the job done.
Just about.
Yeah, not as stylish as he normally is, but we got the job done. And then from a betting perspective, we put up a few kind of big odds runners yesterday, saying that they were going to be backing. And while they didn't win the races, they placed. We had them in a few each way doubles and things like that. So highlight of the day was probably that each way double. So it was a moment of madness. The SP at 25 to 1 and Hatea and SP at 40 to 1, both of those placings. So it was probably about 55 to 1 double on both of those. So that was good, paid for a day, a little bit of extra profit. And sends us into tomorrow now with a bit of a war chest, so happy with that.
Yeah, and is there anything in particular tomorrow you've got your eye on, or not quite yet?
Well, the big race of the day is the Sussex Stakes, and it's probably, it could be the race of the meeting, let alone the race of the day. Yeah, that's the one. That's the race I'm looking forward to most, and the one that's catching my eye at the minute is the English 2000 Guineas winner Kameko. So, as I said, Kameko won the Guineas, quite a good performance. Looked like he was going to go on to bigger and better things. The Derby was a little bit of a weird race with the winner staying out in front. But I think that Kameko still ran a decent race to finish fourth there. And even at that, he wasn't knocked about when the chance was gone. Paddy Power and Betfair have him priced at 11 to 2 tomorrow. And I think that's way too big. So, I mean, going into this week, when I looked at the race, I thought I probably wouldn't have a bet in the race. It's one of those ones that you can just watch. But when I looked at the odds today, like I'm a big fan of Mahater, who is 3 to 1 at the minute. I backed him in St James's Palace. Royal Ascot, and he got a shocking run through, ended up finishing 7th. Was a big eye catcher, won next time out. But he's 3 to 1, so you're getting nearly double the price on Kameko, and Kameko has done more to back up his price. So yeah, as I said, kind of been forced into a bet. I think if Kameko was 3 to 1, I would probably just watch it. But at 11 to 2, for me anyway, it's
too high to ignore.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't put anybody off of that on Wichita either. So Wichita finished second in the Guineas as well. He's 8 to 1. I just think that form is fairly rock solid. Obviously, Siskin is unbeaten, probably a justified favourite, but the prices on Kameko and Wichita stand out. And for me, I'll probably go with Kameko.
Looking forward to it anyway.
And then another old favourite of ours. So we think we've both backed the last 2 times it's ran. So Miss Jingles. So made its debut at the Newmarket July meeting. Didn't quite come home that day on debut, but next time out justified. It dropped back to 5 furlongs at Sandown. She's out tomorrow now. A little bit of a tougher race, and I think she's priced up at about 3 to 1. So I'll probably back her as well. Might even have a cheeky double on both of them.
Yeah, it's got double written all over it. I think tomorrow for me, I'll be looking more at the football. Just as you mentioned yesterday with the day jobs, tomorrow during the day is going to be. I won't be able to watch much of it, but the Serie A tomorrow kicks off at a nice 6:30, and there's a lot of goal looking games there tomorrow. So I'm not sure if you've looked through the schedule there at all, but there's a few of them that Sassuolo, Genoa is one in particular, Cagliari, Juventus, Torino, Roma. All those games are they're all up in the air, and I think after tomorrow, basically all the positions will be decided. So I think in the last game week, unless Genoa lose tomorrow and Lecce win, the relegation will be decided in Genoa's favour. They'll stay up and Lecce will go down. No, I actually don't think Genoa will win. I think they'll probably struggle away to Sassuolo, but other than that, it's definitely going to be wrapped up by next week. So I think there's a good chance for some entertaining games there tomorrow. I've actually picked out a 20-1 treble, which I think is two score draws. I'm not sure if we've talked before. It's never nice to back the draw, but Cagliari, Juventus haven't been great the last couple of weeks. They've really, really struggled. They could have wrapped up the league up even 4 games ago, and they haven't been able to do the business at all. Lazio, Atalanta, and Inter have all faded away badly themselves, and they've kind of given Juve the chance to walk away with it, but it hasn't happened. Cagliari are in great form, and a score draw there is 4-1, which I think is Juve away from home haven't been great this season anyway. I think 4-1 on any draw is a high price, and I can't see that game being 0-0. And then another score draw that jumps out at me is the Udinese-Lecce game. So I'd first looked at this, I thought Lecce might be a good price at 21-10 to win it, but their defence is just not holding up. I think they've conceded 80 goals already this season, and I think they're going to give it everything, but they're 5 points behind with 2 games to go, 5 points behind Genoa, and I think they'll just fall short. And I think despite I'm expecting a valiant effort tomorrow, but not actually get the win, and then they'll go down. So I'm thinking a score draw in both of those games is 20-1, which it looks very overpriced for me, and I think it'll be something kind of entertaining to cheer on. They're both on at 6:30, those games.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that yesterday in terms of you're never really out of it with it backing a draw. As you said, like, are Juventus going to be interested in the game after already wrapping up the title? I'd say their eyes will be off the ball tomorrow, so that looks like a good bet. I haven't had a full look through it. I did think it would be a chance for some upsets. As I said, there's a lot of teams with nothing to play for. I think when I did look briefly earlier on Roma. Is Roma Torino?
Yeah, Roma Torino.
Yeah, I thought Roma were kind of they're a very low price, very short price.
8-13 or something like that. Is it?
Yeah, I think it was 2-5 when I saw it. I think it was.
Just before you continue, I actually said there that Cagliari are great form, and they're not in great form, is what I meant to say, just in case any eagle-eyed listeners pick up on that. They're not in great form, but I still think that they have a good performance in them. So just in case we give people the wrong idea.
So like I said, I looked at it and I thought that it might be kind of a strategy to back against the big things and big teams, and I said you've probably backed that up there. So I might try and have a closer look tomorrow morning.
That Roma game stood out to me as well as a bit of a banana skin. I looked at, looking at the games there without any context, I think Sassuolo, Verona, and AC Milan all looked good prices to win, along with Roma. But then, as you mentioned, I think there's something. I kind of softened on Roma. I kind of went away from them. So if you have goals in that game, in the Roma Torino game, over 2.5, Sassuolo and both teams to score, Verona and both teams to score, and an AC Milan and over 1.5 goals win, which all of those seem pretty likely. I mean, Verona I know they got a drubbing there from Lazio during the week, and I think they'll be keen to kind of make a point after that. They went 1-0 up against Lazio and then imploded, and they lost 5-1, and it was terrible. But they're playing Spal, who are they're no great shape. So I think Verona to win that game. Spal do score though even when they lose. So I think Verona and both teams to score is outside 2-1. It seems like a nice one. Sassuolo, as I mentioned earlier, they score and concede. They just, all their games are nearly like, FIFA games. They're just very, very open. So both of those teams to win and concede in the process. AC Milan, they looked a little bit tight, but they're 4-5 to win with over 1.5. And the thing that's kind of stood out for that one is that Roma, and AC Milan and Napoli. Now, Napoli are actually dominating Inter at the minute, but failing to score. But the three of those are really battling it out for the last Europa League place. I know the Europa League is, sort of a poison chalice in a lot of cases, but the three of those teams are very keen to rebuild. Roma, they got their American manager or their American owner a couple of years ago, and everyone thought they'd kick on, and they went the opposite direction. And I think from talking to people who are very, very big fans of that club, the fact that they've been shown up badly by Lazio this season, and that's kind of been a wake up call for Roma. So I expect they'll hope to do improve greatly this summer, and being in the Europa League will help finance that. AC Milan are having a kind of a rebirth at the moment, and they're looking at the new stadium. I know it's a couple of years away, but they'll want to be in, get European action, get that money in, and kind of get their kudos back a bit. And then Napoli, as we know, have been accustomed to European football for the last good few seasons. They've beaten nearly every big team in Europe, especially at home. They had a terrible, terrible start to the season that we discussed yesterday. We ended up with Ancelotti going to Everton, and we've gone over that. I just think the three of those teams are under a lot of pressure to win, and any of them can get that last Europa League spot. So I think Milan, they're away to Sampdoria. Sampdoria were fighting for survival a while ago. Now they're safe. So I think there's a 1 or 2-0, hopefully 2-0 AC Milan win is what I'll be back in there. But those four results together, so that's goals in the Roma match, Milan, Verona, and Sassuolo to win with goals in all three, is 50-1. Which it seems like a long shot, but individually those four results, they sort of stand up to logic. So they're my two kind of picks. I think about one, call it nap of the day to use that phrase. I think Sassuolo and both teams have scored. It's 3-1, and it's a very, very high price for that result considering Sassuolo's form and their tendency to concede en route to wins.
It sounds interesting. So might be something I invest in. I haven't really had a massive look myself. I've had a fairly busy day, and any spare time I've had, I've kind of been looking at tomorrow's racing instead of the football. I might give that one a chance.
Yeah, we might live stream for the start of those games tomorrow, and just for anyone who is thinking to bet on them. I mean, they'll be entertaining games if you're just going to watch them with no action. So that's fine too, obviously. But if you are going to back, I would just be careful in some of them if you can. In particular, the Cagliari Juventus match, I'd be kind of keen to see how that one starts out. Juventus have looked poor in every game they've played in the last sort of 3 weeks, and they've looked poor from the start. So that's kind of what I have in mind here. If they come out and they're absolutely banging it around for the first 5 minutes, I'd probably steer clear of that game. Now, obviously, you might not have the choice, and it's still a worthwhile bet at 4-1 for that score draw. But a couple of them I'd like to be able to watch them and just make a call sort of 3 or 4 minutes in to see how the teams have settled out.
Yeah, it's probably a good shout. All right.
And then I think finally the Sky Bet Championship. I think you're expecting a win there for the home team, or the home team, the nominated home team.
Yeah, so like Brentford, they obviously went down 1-0 to Swansea in the first leg. Quite controversial first leg. I'm actually means that Brentford have lost back-to-back games now because they were beaten last night of the season against Barnsley. They were going all out for the victory to try and get automatic promotion, and Barnsley broke, scored in the second minute and ended up staying up.
That was like a movie story, that survival.
Yeah, relegated per Charlton, who just down the road from us here.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a bit of, not upset, but I felt sad for Charlton fans, and to kind of have a soft spot for them living so close to them. So that was. But yeah, the Brentford, they're not on the greatest run given that they've lost back-to-back games. But as I said, there's definitely excuses there. They're by far the better team in this game, so I'd expect them to win. There's not great prices on them to win. I think there's something like 1-2 to win tomorrow.
I just checked it there. They're 4-7.
They're around about even money, just to qualify. So, like what's that? Actually, I looked at it on 4-5 just to qualify. So you're saying 4-5 for them to win 2-0. It's not a great price. They will be wild up for it. So I don't know whether you saw the controversial red card that happened on Sunday. That's been rescinded since. So Rico Henry, I think the name of the left back was. He went in on a challenge. Clearly got the ball, took a little bit of the man afterwards, but it was a really clean challenge. Ref gave him a straight red card, sent him off. That was after about an hour, and then Swansea scored after about 80 minutes. So it was really a game-changing sending off and decision by the referee, who actually has form for as well. I think a couple of years ago he gave a really dodgy decision against AFC Wimbledon in a really important game as well. A guy got, I can't remember the player's name now for Wimbledon, but he got fouled in the box. The ref gave the foul, but instead of giving the penalty, gave a free outside the box. And it was at a really acute angle, so it might as well have been a corner. It was a kind of dialogue, and dying minutes or dying seconds. So yeah, it wasn't. The ref has come under the spotlight as well.
It's something that we'll definitely talk about more in future videos and certainly during next season. But the consequences of those wrong decisions are enormous, and to rescind the red card, maybe in a league it's kind of okay. You might get, you might have lost 2 points or 1 point dependent, but in a match, it really, when it's rescinded so soon afterwards, it's like that result now looks very unfair. To see it like that, you're drawing with 11 men and then you lose with 10, and they've admitted that it shouldn't have been a red card. It leaves a bitter taste in the mouth for fans.
Yeah, so Brentford won't care if they can turn it around tomorrow, and they'll have him back for the playoff final, which looks to be against Fulham after Fulham's good 2-0 victory against Cardiff. Yesterday, it's kind of hard to see Fulham throw that away. I think that game's on Friday, actually, which will be probably, it could be Thursday or Friday. I'm not too sure. If it's Friday, we'll be streaming on Friday, so we'll be able to talk through that. But it could be Thursday, either. A bit confused with my dates at the minute. So, as I said, it's hard to see past a Brentford victory. I don't know whether I would have a bet in the match, though. I think Brentford could win 1-0. Now, they do score for fun.
The only one that jumped out at me, you might be better positioned than me to say on this one, but you kind of said they'll have a point to prove, and I think half-time, full-time, they're 13-10, which I know is not amazing, but it's a nice jump up on 1-2, and if they're going to win 1-0, they could score early, with their, that kind of fire in the belly type of thing.
Yeah, it's just like they haven't moved to their new stadium yet, so I kind of have it's hard to know what's going to go. As I said, all the season statistics probably point towards Brentford winning 3-4-0 tomorrow. And if they get an early goal, they'll definitely go away and they'll romp the game. And anybody who's backed them to qualify at 4-5 will think it's free money.
Yeah.
But me, I'm not really someone who likes to bet at short odds. And I can see a scenario where Swansea put kind of 10 men behind the ball, try and get to half time. It takes a while for Brentford to close them down. I could see a 1-0 victory for Brentford, it going to extra time, maybe even penalties, and becoming kind of like a lottery.
The other thing is, and we saw it with the last day of the Premier League and the Serie B last night, that there are a lot of against the run of play 1-0 wins. You saw that Benevento had more chances than I've seen in probably any match that doesn't involve Barcelona, possibly ever, and they just peppered the goal and they just could not break them down. And that does happen probably more often than we'd like to think in football. So like you mentioned there, short prices 4-7. It's not really worth taking a punt on at that price.
Yeah, exactly. Like Joe, I mean, I don't even think you will get good prices on the goals tomorrow because Brentford have been so prolific all season. It's the bookies are going to have that angle covered. So I think what I'll do is I'll see how Goodwood goes. I have my eye on early doors, the horse in Galway as well, who we actually backed in March 2019 at the Cheltenham Festival. He won the last race at the Cheltenham Festival. He ran the same race this year, but couldn't pull off the victory. He's now that was over hurdles. He's now gone chasing first chase handicap tomorrow. Joe O'Brien has had a good Galway so far. Sent out a horse today. He won yesterday, and it duly obliged in the JP McManus colours as well. So the horse wise, I think they would be my bets. I'll see how they go, and then if things are going well, I might have an interest in the Brentford game. I would be tempted to. I think I might be tempted to do something a little bit unique and go like Brentford and under 2.5 goals. So Brentford just to win 2-0 basically, or even look at that as being a direct result to 2-0. Because I said I just have it that Swansea will try and make themselves as hard to break down as possible, put as many people behind the ball as possible.
It's 13-5, Brentford and under, by the way.
All right, what's 2-0? Do you have that?
Just the straight score line is. I'll find this now. You usually get decent prices on correct score. I mean, certainly in the past, you used to get them an awful lot better. 2-0 is 6-1.
So that sticks out to me as being, something that you're always going to be in. If they get an early goal, you're just hoping for another goal. If they're held 0-0 at half time, it's still with a team of Brentford's prowess in front of goal. There's still likelihood that they'll bang up 2 in the second half. So that's something that I'm having a look at. But as I said,
play it by ear tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd be very much like 50-50 is about as Max would be in terms of trying to back out the minute. I'll play it by ear and see how my bank balance is and how my boredom levels are tomorrow night and go from there.
Yeah.
As you said, with plenty of Serie A to keep us entertained, so whether we need to go into championship playoffs that don't offer much value is another story.
Yeah, it might be best to leave. Well, what we'll do is we'll tweet out and put on our Instagram page the bets that we do settle on tomorrow. We've ran through quite a few here, and they're all, from 4-7s out to 20-1. So we've got a nice selection there, but we'll share the final selections with everybody and hopefully enjoy watching some of them come in. I think that whatever game you're watching tomorrow, I'm expecting a lot of goals, so something to look forward to.
Yeah, cool. As I said, we have a lot going on tomorrow, a lot of sport action for the rest of this week, so we're really looking forward to that.
Yep. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.